Redefine Properties, Mark Wayner's house. This is the one which is probably the number 2 player in South Africa's listed property environment. It's got a portfolio of retail, commercial and industrial property assets. It's also got pretty significant stakes itself offshore, and then has a huge and very valuable stake in a offshore listed entity called Redefine International, which is UK based. If we had more time, we could have talked about that one. Mike Waters has done an excellent job with that one. But Redefine itself, the big popper of the lot, 56 billion rands worth of market cap, and the yield a little bit higher, 6.93. So why is the yield on this one higher? Is it because people anticipate more growth in the future? Because it's always been a bit more feisty and active.
So yeah, I think it implies it's a greater riskiness. Yeah, so I think their portfolio a little bit smaller than Growth Point's, not considered of the same quality. Some of their office assets have been a little bit problematic, a little bit more exposure to office, I guess. They don't have the V&A Waterfront, which is iconic property, and they're a little bit more diversified with some offshore holdings as well.
But they did manage to grab the Fountainhead assets, and they did get a few additional along the way, like N1 City and so on, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, and they're rejigging some of those, so they have been selling some of
half of the East Rand Mall, which is the one you come over if you're landing at OR Tambo.
Yeah, and generally I think the performance of their properties has been a little bit lackluster in terms of they're struggling in terms of the incentives that they have to give away for lease renewals. So I've seen numbers up to 25% of the new lease they have to give away in incentives to retain, and so the rental revisions are actually coming out flat, which is one way, and obviously which you would get distribution growth, which they're not achieving currently.
Yes. Because that's quite normal. People have these longer dated deals. But we just lost that there. It looked like there was something exciting going on the far right-hand side. What's that?
Yeah, so they recently announced a few weeks ago that they've made a major acquisition of a portfolio in Poland.
Yes.
They've bought 75% of a very large listed group, Echo Properties.
Now this is in conjunction with Redefine International, or is this through Redefine International?
No, this they've done on their own, in fact.
Okay.
So after this, which is around a 6 billion rand transaction, 25% of the assets are going to be offshore. So I think they've seen the benefits that the more pure play offshore property groups have achieved, and they're saying this remains an opportunity for us.
Because if you can raise the money, and there's a lot of cheap bank finance and corporate credit available globally, and you can buy well, and then you get rand depreciation, which I'm not saying is necessarily going to happen, then obviously it looks good for you going down the line.
And I think you've been in a situation where the yields have compressed in South Africa when the outlook's not that great. The European property market's not as sophisticated. You're almost able to buy an euro yield a similar property group in Poland or other parts of Europe.
Interesting you say that, because I had a similar conversation with a big property magnate in Europe, and you would think that Europe would be totally dominated by big funds and so on, like the way it is here. But actually in Europe there's a lot of family-owned properties and funny sort of charitable trusts and other weird. So actually, like Redefine International is a big player there, and 1 or 2 big German funds, but apart from that, there's actually a lot of opportunity to professionalize property management in Europe.
And I think the South African skill set is excellent. They've done the deals, they've seen the process of sort of regularizing in the South African market, and they're looking to repeat, and already some of them are. We'll speak about Nepi in a while. Have been able to have incredible success there. I think they've got the potential to make something of it.
Okay, good. So what are you thinking? Obviously the market is liking these recent deals and so on. What do you think?
Look, still 75% of the assets are South African. Everything we discussed about the South African property market still holds. So at these levels, I'd also wait to see what's happening on the local front, not hot at these levels.
Okay, good. So we'll go not hot on that one. I'll agree with Rowan.